order this meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission. All right, starting with the item 2 on our agenda, approval of the agenda. Any
Move
comments?
to approve the agenda.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Item 3 would be approval of the January 8th meeting minutes. Did everybody get a chance to review those, and are there any comments on them? If not, I guess I would motion to approve the January 8th minutes.
A second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. Moving on to the public forum. Don't see anybody out there. So we will move to item number 5, which is nominations for the 2024 Historic Preservation Awards.
Good evening. So in your packet, you have the information on the awards. There's a summation that I'll go through briefly, and then you actually have the full attachment of what was submitted for the awards. That we received 2 nominations. The first is a nomination for significant achievement in historic preservation, recognizing Ted Tedesco. The nominator was Mary Jo. Thank you, Mary Jo. And so the criteria for significant achievement in historic preservation recognizes significant individual or organizational achievements in historic preservation, including but not limited to advocacy, planning, development, education, community leadership, and promoting public awareness. So Ted was instrumental in the preservation of this building, which was the 1937 Ames High School, also known as Ames Junior High building, for adaptive reuse as Ames City Hall. The co-chair of the nonprofit Friends of City Hall was Jackie Mannett, who also was a member of the City Hall Task Force with him. He was instrumental in educating the public and promoting the voter-approved $6.8 million municipal bond in 1988 that allowed for the purchase and rehabilitation of the property. The building stands today as an important symbol of the city's achievements in the late 1930s. Restoration of native prairies at both Ada Hayden Heritage Park and the Tedesco Environmental Learning Center, exhibiting what Iowa was like before Ames was settled in 1864. And he is most noted for his work to promote the $4.9 million municipal bond for the purchase in 1991 of the 468-acre Hallett's Quarry, which we know as Ada Hayden. Both the Ada Hayden Heritage Park and the Tedesco Environmental Learning Center exist because of his leadership in environmental conservation. And as noted in the nomination, typically environmental conservation isn't under the purview of historic preservation, but it was included because it was felt that that's important to modern day citizens as its historic built resources. Having 2 restored areas that exhibit what Iowa was like before Ames was settled is primarily due to the efforts of Ted Tedesco. So we'll stop there and you guys can discuss this one if you'd like while it's fresh, and then I can introduce the next one. So Ray, who has received this award in the past?
Sharon Worth has, and
Sorry to put you on the spot.
yeah, I think Gloria Betcher has, but I know for sure Sharon Worth has. She was the first recipient of the award, and Sharon was the one who was the lead on establishing the Old Town historic district applied to the city to have that designated as a zoning overlay and creating that district.
So we haven't given out this particular
No.
category very often.
Mhm.
And that's why it's a significant achievement.
Yeah, and I just wanted to point out Jackie Manette is deceased. So.
Oh, yeah, right.
That's why she
You put
is.
that in there. I didn't write
Mhm.
that, copy that in. So, Mary Jo, did you want to introduce anything further about your application on this?
I think your summary was really good. I don't really have anything to add. I just feel that adding the environmental conservation component was important because of the effort to, or Ted's effort to make sure that it became an area that represented what Ames looked like. So I felt that that was important, but definitely the fact that Ames High building exists today is pretty amazing. It's a pretty amazing school. I think that school building, I think the fact that it has a courtyard is pretty unique for that time period and for this climate. So I think they're that, you know, it's a eligible landmark, definitely. So I do think it is important to recognize him for that.
Mhm. I would agree with what you said, Mary Jo. Appreciate you putting the nomination in, and like you said, with all the stuff with Ada Hayden and whatnot, it's obviously that's not a building directly, but our history is more than just our built environment. It can be natural environments as well, and
Mhm.
I think the National Park Service would agree with that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's and obviously between what's now the City Hall building and Ada Hayden, a couple of these other things that he's been involved with, they're landmark spots, very well known spots within
Mhm.
our city. So obviously very important projects that came of those. So worth recognition.
I think the application meets the requirements for the Significant Achievement Award, which talks about achievements including but not limited to advocacy, planning, development, education, community leadership, and promoting public awareness. I think he would comply with all of those.
Mhm.
Did you want us to make a motion on the individual?
What's your preference? Do you want to make a motion now, or do you want to go through the next one and then come back and decide which ones?
I think they're two separate award categories, so I think it would make sense that we could just review one, do a motion, then review the other. So I think we would be open to a motion now.
And since I'm the nominator, I
Yeah,
think
you
I
can do
will,
that. That's
I
fine.
shouldn't nominate,
Yeah,
I shouldn't make the motion, do you think? Or is,
I think it would be fine, but that's okay. I can go ahead and do it because I'm in favor of the nomination. So I would motion that we accept the nomination of Ted Tedesco for the Significant Achievement in Historic Preservation Award, and that the award for 2024 be awarded to him. I said award a lot of times here, but
Second the motion.
all right. All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Hear none, so motion carries. All right, on to number 2.
Okay, the next nomination, I don't know that you guys need that. I was mainly having that for our audience, which is not here. Um, I guess I should just do it anyway, in case it's on the video. So the next nominee is for 501 Main Street. It's the building at the corner there. The property owner is Janet Lott, and Mary Jo's the nominator. The award category is for keeping the past alive, preservation, and that category recognizes significant individual or organizational achievements in historic preservation, including but not limited to advocacy planning. I copied the wrong thing, didn't I? I copied the same thing over. I copied the same thing. Okay, that's not the category. The category is preservation, but the explanation of preservation is incorrect in your report. I will still summarize the building, and then I will pull up the category. You'll have to bear with me on that one. A summary is it's a 2-story commercial building built in 1937. It originally was constructed as the chiropractic office and residence of C.R. Kerr and his wife. It's significant for its design, use of a local contemporary building material, and its association with the major development period that saw westward expansion of the Ames Business District. The building remains virtually architecturally intact as an example of 1930s modern classical design. Only the doors and windows have been replaced. It's notable for its use of a precast tile beam construction material developed by C.T. Bridgman and Professor Henry Glees of Iowa State's Agricultural Engineering Department and manufactured in Ames by Bridgman's Structural Clay Product Company. It was the first building in Ames to utilize this material. The current state of preservation has ensured its architectural integrity despite changes of use over the years. Past maintenance work has purposefully preserved the building, historic materials, and form, including removal of invasive ivy that once covered most of the building.
Here's the,
So, I guess that doesn't.
if you go back to the previous one, the categories.
This,
That's it.
the pictures of the building. I think if I pull up the application. Okay, here's the description for preservation, number 3. Preservation focuses on the maintenance and repair of existing historic materials and retention of a property's form as it has evolved over time, keeping a historic building one that has survived without detrimental changes or deterioration in good condition by sustaining the existing form, integrity, and materials of a historic property. And I turn it over to you for your discussion.
Thank you.
I'll add a few details.
Yeah.
In case you haven't had a chance to read the the nomination. The ivy was removed by the current owner when they purchased the building, so that contributed a lot. And it's a very plain building, but when you look at it, there's a lot more detail than, just passing by, and which someone doing a survey of a building would notice those things, um, but I think it's significant mainly because of the construction material. And in reading about it, it was used a lot for silo construction. So there are still silos around in the country that are of that material. And I was looking at the old theater building that was Collegiate Theater, and it looks to me like the back of that might be those clay tiles. It was built around that time. I'm not sure what the date of the theater is. And I've also, there was a house that was being restored on Lincoln Way, just west of the Highway Commission this past year. And it was it was an arts and crafts style house, but it was of some kind of block, which when I saw it, I thought it was unusual, but I would suspect that it was built of those. So, and I believe that company was in Ames for several years, like maybe into the 50s and 60s. So, anyway, I think it would be eligible for landmark designation. I think it's significant enough, and I do think it should be recognized.
I remember that building because it was covered with all the beautiful ivy. But actually, that ivy is quite destructive,
Yes.
isn't it, over
Yes,
time?
it
Yeah.
really
Collects
eats into-
moisture, the
Yeah.
tendrils or whatever get in the mortar.
Yep, it digs out the grout.
Right.
Mhm.
So it was really
Mhm.
a big preservation move to remove all that ivy.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think when you read the brief and then you start going through the, qualifications, I mean, it hits all of it. It focuses on maintenance and repair of existing historic materials or attention to property's form. Obviously, as we mentioned in there, it was built in 1937 and we still have the same masonry on the building that has been cared for since then. And then you add on top of that it was a locally innovated and manufactured product as well, that
Mhm.
kind of elevates it too, that, it's not that they were just taking care of Sioux City brick, they were taking care of masonry made here,
Mhm.
so I think that's a pretty
And they're-
special element to it.
They're beautiful bricks,
Yeah.
different colors. I mean, you can't
Well,
find those anymore
that-
anywhere.
The brick is not that material though. It's the internal construction
Oh,
that is
okay.
that tile.
Yeah.
But the brick is beautiful. It's
It
a
is.
very varied color, and it's the use of the building has changed pretty recently. There's a plant shop in there now, and at first I thought it could be an adaptive use award, but I didn't think there was enough of work. It was all
Yeah.
interior
Okay.
adaptation, but they kept the entry and the windows and
Mhm.
everything. So and I just happened to go in the plant shop one day, and I thought
Yeah.
this should be given. I think
There you
this
go.
qualifies for an award.
Yeah. Mhm. All right. Any other comments? All right. If not, does anybody wish to make a motion on this nomination?
I move that we add the 501 Main, I believe is the address, 501 Main, a building for recognition under, is it the number 3, Keeping
Yeah.
the Past Alive
Mhm.
Award for 2024.
All right.
I'll second the motion.
Awesome. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hear none. Motion carries. All right, that was both of our nominations. So with that, we'll move on to item number 6 on our agenda, which is the Downtown Ames 515 week event involvement. And I'll kick that over to Eloise in a moment. But first there, Eloise, apologies. He sent me an email on this one about a week or so ago, and I did not follow up on that one to the rest of the group here. So this will be fresh information to him. So
Okay.
just plugging
I
that in there.
just
That's my bad,
thought-
not getting that email out.
I
to
didn't
him,
know for
so.
sure if we would be having a meeting in March, and so
Yeah.
I thought that we
Mhm.
might need to act on that.
Yep.
Independent, but since we're meeting today,
Worked out.
it worked
Yeah.
out fine. So this is an introduction, this is a follow-up to your work plan, in that you put out that you wanted to be involved in education with maybe the 515 event again. And I didn't know too much about it till I tried to write about it in the results of last year. And I learned more about it because I wasn't able to attend. I think most of you did attend, those that were on the board at the time, on the commission at the time. So I just put this together. I think last fall someone commented, are they still doing it, next in 2024? So I thought it made sense to follow up and find out how you would be involved. So that's what this is. And I'll just turn it over to you.
All right, sounds good. So yeah, we're just trying to discuss what our involvement would look like this year, if we have any ideas. Obviously, last year we did the kind of walking history tour of
Yeah.
the various buildings. So they all we were out there and had some brochures or maps for them, and then certain businesses around town, the ones that participated, kind of put a kind of 11 by 17 almost, information flyers in their windows with pictures of their original building, or at least a historical photo of it, and some description of what's kind of been in the building over time and just some of its history. So I don't know if we want to do something similar to that again this year, or if we want to shift and do something else. But yeah, so that's kind of one part, is thinking of what ideas we might have this year, and then also the 515 committee provided some dates in which we could go and meet with them and kind of collaborate and discuss what we might be doing. So that would be the other part of the discussion, to see if which of us would like to collaborate with them, and if we're able to make those dates work. So
What kind of, what dates are they looking at?
they have Thursday, March 7th, which is past, obviously. So the remaining ones are Thursday, March 21st, April 4th, April 18th, and May 2nd.
So what week?
I
is
do
it?
not have all meetings. All our meetings are at 10 a.m.
Are they going to do this like on History Week? Is that what it was in May?
Oh, the
Those-
date of the event?
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay.
That was their
Yeah, it would still be that same week in May.
hmm
So I also should mention, so it was way back like November when I reached out, I think. And I also reached out to Ames History Museum and asked them who would be the contact person, because I think we were more associated with the Ames History folks than with the chamber.
We were.
And so, but then I didn't hear back from anybody. I kind of forgot about it. And then just at the end of February, I heard back from the chamber, and this was the information they sent.
Okay.
So that's all I know.
Okay.
So they gave ideas for when they gave information when they're already meeting to prepare things for the event. But of course, that's like the whole committee.
Yep.
And not just the stuff oriented around historic preservation. But I think last year, all the heavy lifting was done by Ames History Museum.
Yeah.
It was. They were celebrating History Week, I think. And it kind of coincided with Preservation Week, I think. So we were kind of working conjointly, but Ames History Museum was doing most of the heavy lifting. They did the contacting the stores and provided information and things like that. And we were kind of secondary in providing, well, they did most of the information half of it, and then we provided people to be available on the walking tour. So,
I did find it in here for your reference. They have 515 days listed as starting May 15th through the 17th.
okay. So you haven't heard anything from the History Museum, whether they.
No, I didn't hear back from my message,
Okay,
so I don't know.
if they're thinking
And
about doing something, yeah.
I didn't get back to them again.
They've got
I
a lot going
forgot.
on down there with the
Yes, they
building, so that might also disrupt their.
So I know it's kind of hard because 3 of you guys are going to be off of the commission. And that's kind of what happened last year is Edie was the contact. And then she went off the commission at the end of March and the event was in May. But
May.
it worked out just
Yeah.
fine. And you
I
picked up the
picked it up.
contact information
Yeah.
and so forth. So there's really just 3 of you, I think, that could step up if you are able, or if you're not able, then maybe it doesn't happen.
I think it'd be worthwhile to contact the History Museum again, just to see if they do have any plans to have something for Ames History Week. I mean, as joint groups interested in Ames history and whatever, just to find out what they might be considering and see if it's something that you all could participate in or have some sort of joint support for.
Yeah.
I know with you down 3, I'm hoping we have people waiting in the wings for the commission. You may have additional bodies available to help support, but I thought it worked out last year quite well, as a partnership.
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. I'd be curious to see if we get a hold of the History Museum too, to see when Ames History Week is, if it actually coincides at the same time as 515 days again or not.
Yeah, find out about that. And I could look up who the contact person that I used to talk to over at the History Museum. And I could email that to you.
Yeah, that'd be great. That may be one thing to look into as well. If the 2 events don't
Jive.
correlate, it's like, okay, well, are we
Yeah.
doing one, not the other, both,
I think they probably would come pretty close, but definitely want to find out.
Yeah.
So I think all we need to do is have somebody that's the liaison who's going to make the phone calls, and maybe Scott, you're saying you can do some of that. I don't know, but
Yep.
Just a point of contact. And then what I would do is write this person back and just say, we discussed, and let them know. I feel that I should write her back since I initiated
Yeah, yeah.
the discussion, but then
and then you can
whoever
tie us
is
in.
the
Yeah,
liaison should follow up then.
I think that sounds good. And then I guess Bob and Melissa, either way, if one of you really wants to do it, you can. If not, I'm good with being the liaison there. So
Well, I won't be here March 21st, so I'd miss that meeting.
okay. I'll take- it's
I would
fine.
be
I can-
interested in helping, I think.
Okay.
But if you're okay.
Yep.
taking the lead,
Sounds
then-
good. Yeah. If you want to put me down as the liaison there, Eloise, we'll roll with that and then get some conversations going and see where it carries us to. Any thoughts from the group that was there for the event last year on the kind of history walk that we did on? Feel it was a good thing?
Wasn't there a conflict with some other event that had been going on? I don't remember what it was, but it seemed like there was.
I think we got our night changed. 501 had a special theme each night that
Mhm.
week. And I think
Mhm.
we started out on one night and we ended up on another.
Okay.
I think that was what,
Okay.
there was some change up in that regard. But that's the only thing
I thought there was
Mm-hmm.
some music event or something that.
The music walk, that was a couple weeks
Well,
ago.
I really don't remember. I just
Okay.
remember
Yeah.
there was a conflict.
Some-
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, they had a different theme every night.
No, it had nothing to do with Ames
that,
history. It
Yeah,
was a
okay.
totally
Oh,
different
another,
event.
another event,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't know. I don't remember that part.
I thought that people were real receptive and interested
Yeah.
in the handouts and the looking at the poster that was in the,
Mhm.
I think it was a good event for us to participate in.
Yeah.
So,
And I saw the same while I was out there too. I mean, not everybody takes a flyer, obviously, but I did
Mhm.
see, a handful of groups that were actively,
mhm,
working their way through the list and
Mhm.
checking the places out. So,
yeah.
It's exposure that I don't think we often get as a commission. Let's
Mm.
put it that way, other than, being on the televised thing. So
Mhm.
it kind of gives a little chance to meet and greet.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
We also were able to borrow these name tag holders from the city manager's office.
Yep.
It was the idea that we would return them. So if anyone happens to still have theirs from last year, I
brought mine
think
in
I
this
had
week.
one I got back and I don't remember who it was from.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, it's not a huge big deal
Yeah.
because they have plenty, but they use these at the board and commission meetings, which is coming up in March.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so if you just happen to have one floating around,
Yeah.
drop it by anytime.
Yeah.
And
I know I got
we'll
out there
Try
after
to
the.
offer that again, so
Yeah.
for the events. We have a name
Okay. I know I got out there after the office had closed, so I never picked up my name tag. So I was just the unidentified guy that was out there handing stuff out.
Some
But it's
random
yeah.
guy on
Yeah.
the sidewalk.
tag.
All right. Any other conversation on that topic? If not, we'll try and get in contact with the other committees out there and see what we can get rolling on. Did you have anything else on that one, Eloise, that you wanted to?
Not under agenda items.
Sounds good. Guess with that, we'll move on to item 7, which is commission comments. Anything from the group?
Well, I have enjoyed being on the commission the past 2 terms I've been on, and just want to say it's been a pleasure serving with all of you. It's been quite informative and quite fun as well. So I do want to thank you all. I also brought, for those of you who are new members, in my eagerness, when I began, I ran off the whole thing that was on the city's website. So if anybody wants a printed version, I'd be happy to pass along the website information that in a printed format for you all. And then I had this, which I also am clearing out my files from 1989, the real estate magazine that talks about the new historic district, the Old Town Historic District. And, I was able to show to the staff, and then maybe I should forward this to the files of the historic, the Old Town Historic District. But you're welcome to have a look if you want to see some of the old information. When we were first establishing, and there's an interesting back and forth about the article written by Sharon Worth in favor of having a historic district. And then there's a rebuttal, which is always interesting to read those as well. So anyway, I'll leave that for everyone too as well.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. And then I would just like to thank Mary Jo, Susan, Angie, all three of you for your service to this committee or this commission. It's been very much appreciated, especially being a new member last year. It's great having the three of you on and just the knowledge you had of the commission and the work that's been done. So thank you very much for all your hard work and participation over the years. And there's potential we might call you if we have questions. So just
Or work me on a
Yeah.
walking tour. You know.
yeah, there you go. But thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We will move along to staff comments.
You want to talk
Sure.
about first?
So I want to call your attention. I know we mentioned it. It's in the work plan. The Preserve Iowa Summit is June 6th through the 8th. It is in Mount Pleasant, Iowa. I would encourage you, the three of you that are on the commission at that time, to put on your calendars and mark it so that you can attend. The city will pay for someone to attend or part of, depending on how much the budget will allow, how much it can
Mhm.
stretch and so forth. But if one person goes, they usually get the whole thing paid. And in the past, Mary Jo has been wonderful at attending. And then Bob did attend a training
Yeah.
that was over in
Decorah.
Decorah.
Yep.
Right. That was just, we drove there and drove back. So it wasn't very many. It was just the one day. But I know lots of times people have conflicts at that time of year. So if it's possible for you to attend, you know, they put this on for the purpose of training commissioners and training staff every year. And it's a very good conference.
So, yeah, and they do have special sessions for CLG communities too, or commissions. So, and that's real useful, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would encourage as many of you to go that can go.
Mhm.
It's worth it, I think. You always learn something.
Do we have a deadline to register by?
Oh,
And
it's not,
It's
it's not
there's
yet.
not really. It's- okay.
But I just thought we better
Obviously, you'd like to
start
know
thinking
sooner than
about
later,
it
but-
because
Yeah.
conflicts
Okay.
come up quick
Yep.
and then of course, the next group of new people coming in, we'll have to let them know so they can put it on
Mhm.
their calendars and then that way we have a better chance of
Mhm.
having attendance from the
Yeah.
city.
Mhm.
Can you repeat the date again?
June 6th through the 8th.
Thank you.
So the 8th is a Saturday. It's a half day on Saturday. And so a lot of people aren't there for Saturday.
Mhm.
The most important part is, well, last year I think I just went for one day. So I think I went for the day in the middle.
Yeah,
But-
most things
and you
are
went
in,
for 2 days.
most things are on Friday. They have a reception on Thursday night and, but there's not much.
Right.
You know, the keynote speaker is on Friday and
Right.
so if it's possible to drive that morning and if you had to. I don't know where Mount Pleasant
Mount
is.
Pleasant
It's
is
southeast.
2 hours and 40 minutes.
Wow.
So it would probably be that if you were just going, you probably would want to be there for Wednesday night regardless.
Thursday night. Yeah.
The night of the 6th, so that you have the full day on the 7th to be there.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's about 50 minutes or so south of Iowa City on 218.
Oh, okay.
Mhm. So between Iowa City and
Yeah,
Keokuk.
you'd have to get up pretty early
Yeah.
to get there.
My in-laws live out that way. They're like 15 minutes from Mount Pleasant, so I've been there a few times. But
And I also did want to thank the three of you for your service. You three put in lots of hours on historic preservation, and you had a real passion for it, and I appreciate all of that time you've spent. And I think you got a lot done.
We did.
It was fun.
We did.
Well, I too want to express my appreciation to the three of you for all your hard work and dedication to the commission and volunteer, there's no, there's no compensation, it's just volunteer time and you guys really gave it your all and it's much appreciated.
Thank
You'll be missed.
Thanks.
For the new members, the council's looking at tomorrow night appointing 2 new people to the commission.
Awesome.
We still will have 2 openings, and one of those is the Old Town Neighborhood Association representative. So Angie, if you have any suggestions on people to contact, let the clerk's office or the manager's office know, or have them contact one of those offices. And because we do need someone from the Old Town Historic District on the commission, one of the requirements for CLG. So we'll have 2 new members for sure, appointed tomorrow night, and then still looking for 2 more.
All right.
Well, you say one is Old Town. Is the other one at large from anywhere? Or?
Yeah. Mhm, mhm. Yes.
I think Old Towns are only like designated.
Mhm.
Yeah. We
One
have-
person
we
from
have
there,
a
everything else is
local
at
historic
large.
district. Need to have
Yeah.
a representative that lives in that district.
All right. Sounds good. Okay, all good on staff comments?
I think that's all.
All right. If so, I will motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You're not. The session is adjourned.